Well, go on YouTube family. Welcome back to TG Inside Jamaica TV, your family friendly go-to place where we explore the heart of Jamaican culture. Now tonight, we're diving into the mysterious, the spine-chilling world of Jamaican myths and legends. We look at the shape-shifting, spine-tingling, and even blood-sucking creatures that exist in Jamaican folklore, some of which are said to linger into modern times, or recalled by elders in hushed tones, in vivid stories passed down through countless generations. So, are you ready? Alright, stick around and let's get into it. First up, we have the rolling calf. The rolling calf is often described by Jamaican elders as a bull-like creature with a piece of chain dangling from its neck. It is said to have red eyes that glow like fire coals in the dark, and it grew larger whenever you saw it. People say, if you met the rolling calf, your head would suddenly feel like it's growing bigger, and the hair on the back of your neck would stand up straight like you've been electrocuted. And this fearsome beast was said to be a farmer butcher, or a restless spirit doomed to wander the streets at night. It was also known to harm farm animals, especially pigs, and it would feed on live fire coals, left over after dust from Jamaican outside fireside. Now, in order to counter this beast, people would throw salt, matchsticks, or sugar on the ground, and the rolling calf would stop to count each grain or matchstick, which would give people time to run away. Another way said to foil this beast was to get a tall stick and put it above your head. This would then make you appear bigger to the creature and turn it away. To protect their animals, people would put old chimneys or a white container on a pole near the pigsty or the goat pen. And at nights after cooking, they would pour water on their fireside to ensure no live fire coals remain for the rolling calf to devour. Next up, we have the 3-foot horse. Now imagine this, people. You are walking after midnight on a dark and lonely street, and you see a horse with 3 legs coming towards you. Now comment your reaction, we'd love to hear it. But as for me personally, a foot in a hand business that, as not even the great man Bolt himself couldn't catch me. Now the 3-foot horse was said to be an omen of death, a herald appearing in the dead of night, that is any time after midnight, and it moved with a particular limp as it only had 3 legs. Legend also has it that the 3-foot horse was the favorite mount of a former slave driver from the colonial era. And this rider would go out searching for runaway slaves to bring back to the plantations. It is said that if you encountered the 3-foot horse, the rider would ask you a single question: where is the nearest crossroads? Now, to counter this, you would have to tell the rider a crossroad so far away that by the time the horse got there and returned, you would be long gone. But as with anything evil, it was said that on many occasions, the rider would only gallop a short distance around a few corners, and then it would come back. And if this happened, you would either have to crawl under a building or climb a tall tree, and you would have to stay there until daybreak, when the 3-foot horse would return from whence it came. Our next creature is a popular one, known throughout Jamaica as well as in many places around the world. River lovers, this is your time. Jamaican rivers are said to be home to the Riva Mumma or river maid, which is also called a mermaid in many countries. Now, mermaids are often portrayed as beautiful and gentle-natured in movies and programs especially directed at younger audiences. But in Jamaica, the Riva Mumma is a mysterious and mischievous entity. Elders say she is a river protector who lives in the depths of rivers or ponds, that never goes dry, not even in the worst of droughts. It is said the Riva Mumma is beautiful with long black hair, and she often sits on a rock in the middle of the river, combing her hair with a golden comb. Legend also has it that the Riva Mumma guards hidden treasures in vast underwater caverns. Now before you get tempted to go looking for one, be mindful that if you go from one parish to the next, you will hear numerous stories of people who have tried it before, and all have met their doom. And it is also believed that the Riva Mumma has the power to summon massive floods, sink houses, or trap people underwater from whence they'll never return. As for Jamaican fisher folk, people who love catch them mullet, crayfish or janga, depending on where you live, as well as other river users, if you are respectful, people say you'll be safe from the Riva Mumma. But as for those who are ill-mannered and destructive to the streams, plenty of stories abound of how many of these people went to rivers and never returned. Now for many people who grew up or who are still growing up in Jamaica, rivers are a wonderful place for recreation, fishing and washing clothes, and this still happens in some rural communities today. Whilst many of the other creatures have receded in prominence, the legend of the Riva Mumma still thrives today in Jamaica. Yeah man, people still say the Riva Mumma there, Flatbridge and other places like that. And it's easy to find people all over Jamaica who will tell you of a place where one still resides in a nearby stream. So if you have seen one or heard about a Riva Mumma and want to add something more to the topic, feel free to share with us in our YouTube community comments down below. Next up, we have the Old Higue. Yeah man, the blood-sucking witch. This was said to be a creepy old woman with glowing eyes that would watch from the shadows. And the Old Higue was one of the most feared legends in Jamaica. She was said to take off her skin at night and could turn into a ball of fire. She would fly through windows to land in people's rooms and suck them blood. Now the Old Higue was said to leave marks on their victim's skin, and if she kept draining their blood, they would grow weaker and weaker until they died. Now to stop the Old Higue, people say you could sprinkle rice or salt at your doorstep, as she would be obsessed with counting, so she would waste the entire night trying to count the grains. Or, better yet, you'd have to find her skin and burn it, which would trap her in her human form forever, so she couldn't change and transform at night anymore. Well people, we could not do a program on Jamaican myths and legends without mentioning the most common creature of them all. Now what is this? The Duppy or ghost, of course. Yeah man, the spirit of the dead, which are said to roam, haunt and even harm people in Jamaica. And whilst Jamaica is known for many things, when it comes to folklore, Duppy stories are quite prominent. Ask any Jamaican who grew up in the days before electricity became so widespread, especially if they grew up in a rural community. Many of them will either have a few Duppy stories to tell you, or share something from their own personal encounters. Now Duppies are said to be the restless, tormented and sometimes vengeful spirits of the dead. And they come in different categories, such as the rolling Duppy. That is a spirit that is said to wander through the streets after midnight. Have you ever heard about people walking home at night and them see a person that walk ahead, and no matter how fast they try to walk to catch up with this person, it never happen? Yeah man, that is said to be a rolling Duppy. Next we have the shadow Duppy, or the shedder Duppy as locals call it. And this is said to be a dark figure that often lurks in the shadows, watching or haunting a certain place in silence, especially under a big cotton tree or in a dark corner of the roadway. Finally we have the white lady. And personally, I have heard many stories about this one. Now elders say it is a woman dressed in white, who is often seen on moonless nights in abandoned buildings, moving through graveyards or crossing lonely streets after midnight. And there are also stories about duppies that visit children and play with them, and these things make them ill, which is why babies and small children were so keenly watched, especially at nights, as they were considered to be more at risk. It is also believed that when a parent dies, especially the mother of a young child, her spirit would return to play with her offspring. And this is why, in some areas you'll see at funerals, the child is normally passed over the grave 3 times, which is said to prevent the mother from returning to play with him or her. People would also move around their furniture, cover their mirror, and burn the clothing of the deceased to prevent them from coming back to the house in which they once lived. And as with most cases of these creatures in Jamaica, people would use salt, frankincense and myrrh, garlic, holy water, or chant Bible verses, as these were said to be effective ways to counter duppies as well. Many elders would also advise you to wear your clothes on the wrong side or inside out, curse a few bad words, or chip a few cloth, as we Jamaicans will say, to ward off the approach or supposed haunting by a duppy. Now people, if you've heard about or had a personal encounter with a duppy, we'd definitely love to hear about this, so I implore you to share with us in the comments below. Now I'm sure that these are not the only creatures known in Jamaican folklore. In fact, there are such things as the Hoopin' Boy and Long Bobby Susan, spoken about by elders around the island. Personally, I haven't met any of these creatures, but if you have, or you know the names of others we missed, we definitely love to hear about them. So please, like, subscribe and share this video. Thanks to you, our awesome viewers. Our community is growing steadily, and there are many people who watch this channel who would definitely love to hear your stories in the comment section. And as with all things mythical, I am not here to claim these things are either true or false. I am just here to share these fascinating elements from Jamaica's rich cultural heritage. So until next time, walk good my beautiful people, and remember, watch out on your late night roamings. One love to you and yours. Catch you next time.